The garage smelled like oil and old lies. The door clicked shut behind me. Final. He looked up from the workbench, casual, confident, like men who think age makes them untouchable. "My son told me everything," I said. "Everything." He smirked. "He's lying." I didn't argue. I never do when the truth is about to speak for me. I showed him the recording. The smirk collapsed, not dramatically, just gone, like a light switched off in a man who suddenly understands the dark. "Now listen carefully," I said. "You have 48 hours to leave this state. If I ever see you near my family again," I stepped closer, "there won't be a conversation, there won't be a warning. Understand?" That was the end. But it wasn't the beginning. I used to admire him. That's the part people underestimate. Betrayal only works when it's built on trust. He was the loud patriarch, handshakes like bear traps, advice delivered as commandments. He called me son before I married his daughter, slapped my back at barbecues, told people I was solid, reliable, family. I believed him. Worse, I let my wife believe him. The first cracks were small, a comment here, a suggestion there. He'd offer help that somehow came with strings already tied. He'd plant doubts about me when I wasn't in the room, then act surprised when they grew. Classic divide and rule. I saw it too late because I didn't want to see it at all. Love makes you generous with blind spots. The night everything broke, my son couldn't sleep. He sat at the edge of his bed, twisting the corner of his blanket like it might unravel the world. "Grandpa says you're dangerous when you're angry," he whispered. "He says Mom should leave." Something in me went still. Not rage, focus. Kids don't invent sentences like that. I didn't confront. I observed. I listened. I waited. Years earlier, a different man had taught me how power really works. "You're outdated. We're done here," the CEO hissed across a glass table, surrounded by men who wouldn't meet my eyes. I replied quietly, "Understood." That was the moment the retirement trust activated its voting rights. By Monday morning, the board convened an emergency meeting. Who just fired the person who owns 76% of the shares? I didn't raise my voice then either. I just let preparation do the talking. I remembered that lesson as I planned this one. I set traps made of patience. I installed cameras where he thought no one would look. I archived messages he thought were erased. I let him talk. Men like him always do. The recordings weren't dramatic. No shouting, no threats, just poison delivered gently, suggestions, fear dressed as concern. A slow campaign to isolate my wife from me, my kids from stability. The shift inside me was clean. Pain hardened into strategy. I spoke to a lawyer before I spoke to my wife. I needed to know the borders of consequence. I needed leverage that didn't leave bruises. When I finally showed her, I didn't explain. I pressed play. She cried once, quietly. Then she straightened her shoulders and said, "What do we do?" That's when I knew we'd be fine. I chose the garage because it was his kingdom. Tools on the wall, grease on the floor, a place where he felt large. I chose the timing because his confidence would be peaking. Men like him get sloppy when they think the story is already written. When the recording ended, he tried denial, then anger, then negotiation. "I was protecting them," he said. "You're overreacting." I watched him cycle through masks like a bad actor. "You don't get to rewrite intent after exposure," I said. "You don't get proximity to my family ever again." He threatened lawyers, reputation, money. I leaned in close enough for him to smell the certainty on me. "I've already spoken to all of them," I said. "You have no legal standing. And your reputation?" I shrugged. "It's very sensitive to recordings." That's when fear finally arrived. Real fear. The kind that sinks into the eyes. He left the state within 36 hours, sold his place, changed his number, sent one final message through a relative. This didn't have to be like this. It did. Power doesn't respond to fairness. It responds to clarity. The fallout was quiet. That was the point. No scenes, no public spectacle, just absence. Peace returning like a tide. My wife sleeps through the night again. My son doesn't flinch at raised voices. Our house feels sealed, like something toxic was removed from the air. Sometimes I think about that CEO, about glass boardrooms and garages, about how men mistake silence for weakness. They always learn too late. I didn't destroy him, I relocated him, out of our lives, out of our future. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it locks a door, presses play, and speaks once. And when it's done, it doesn't look back.